Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna. Here, basically, we are talking about the most dangerous topic, that is the city creation. This everything comes into the city creation only, basically. So, one of the person told that basically, are you sure basically the 100 planets are basically getting crashed in the Himalayan Everest mountain? Where is this mountain basically there? Then he told that basically it's in Asian basically, yeah, country. That means basically the 11 parts basically story that is 100% correct. That means somebody is verifying that also, basically somebody is getting the information of the 100 plane basically getting crashed in the Asian parts or not basically. Because when the earth planet basically is at the same shape, and when basically it gets into different parts basically, that time basically the internet basically doesn't work basically. So that time basically, that means the plane basically which is getting crashed in the Asian country basically, that happens in within few minutes basically. So he told that basically for few minutes basically the Asian countries basically breaks their land basically into from the earth planet, and due to that basically the internet basically data gets basically breaks the chain basically. But the buffer data is there basically. Buffer data is also created there basically. Due to that buffer data basically, they never basically able to track that basically the earth planet land is basically getting break is getting broken basically, is broken basically, that also you can say basically, for little bit minutes basically. So whenever the land basically gets break into some for example Asia, there are basically earth planet. In earth planet basically Asia is basically one land basically, which is basically which is basically getting broken basically, which has basically broken into one part basically. That time basically, for little bits minute basically, the internet supply basically gets off. But internet supply, that is the live data basically, that gets off. But there the buffer data is there basically. Due to that buffer data basically, never able to track that basically, this type of data basically is getting, this type of incidents basically is happening in the area basically. So this type of thing basically, this was basically told in one of the blog basically. And 100 plane crash means basically one plane basically how many people basically, let me calculate basically. 100 plane, and one plane basically contains, at least basically contains 2000 people. See basically 2 lakh multiply by, that's 4 lakh people basically. So 4 lakh people basically, that also very high profile people basically dies. Very high profile people basically, to fly the plane, to fly in the plane basically, normal people basically can fly, not possible basically. So normal people basically are not dying here basically. That is 4 lakh people basically, that are rich people basically, they are dying basically. That means somebody is telling that basically, some like this basically, we are controlling the whole world basically. So somebody is tracking that basically, that somebody is tracking us. Still basically there was not after this sorry the uh, other countries basically was still basically was not able to track that basically the land basically really is getting break or not basically. With come that basically, for example, there is 11 parts basically in the earth planet, right? Basically on the base of these 11 parts the world has created, assume basically that in really basically it might be more than 100 basically, it might be more than 100 basically. So just see up to what dangerous level the world has reached basically. That's why somebody says that basically the lockdown basically reason was this also, that was 100 plane getting crashed. From this basically they have verified this also basically. So just see basically up to what level the things are going to be reached, and how basically it is going to connect to earthquakes. So one of the person told that basically 100 the land basically is, there is basically 11 types of land basically, right? Basically 11 types of land means in 11 parts basically the land has been divided, right? Basically, so one of the part is Asian land basically. So he told that basically whenever the plane gets crashed, that time basically the Asian land basically gets separate from the earth planet, so that basically the whenever the internet basically is getting supply, basically that time basically the internet supply data will get blocked for certain level of time. Basically that time basically the buffer data basically in the system, basically that is the one plane system basically, that gets activate, and in that time basically the data gets connect, whatever data which was going to generate basically future data of that particular plane which actually crashed, that gets activate future data. How basically the data science, basically somebody is telling that data science is the future, this is the data science basically. So that data basically got activated, and that data was actually not real data, that was the dummy data which was actually created by the data science industry basically. And in this basically data science basically big soft sorry the university are also basically joined, like Oxford, Harvard, many big universities basically are there, basically Delhi University, Dehradun University, like this basically many universities are basically there, who are basically telling that we are teaching you the data science basically. So here basically the data science comes into the picture basically. Future data basically, future data, the 100 plane is already crashed basically, but that for 1 minute basically they activated that data basically, but this was never able to track by any of the country. For example, one country told that basically our plane basically has landed basically, but some basically is problem, somebody basically got doubt basically. Whenever basically he gets it out, at that time basically gets the call from some supervisor or somewhere, basically do that task, in this basically task he will forgive this basically. That means somebody is tracking the brain also of each and every people basically. Somebody is tracking the brain also of the somebody group, some entire group basically, who is tracking this all this basically. So some few people says that also, that this was actually planned by, that is lockdown, to in lockdown basically they want to verify anything, verify something basically. That verification was, I think that 100 plane basically which is getting crashed in Himalaya and Everest mountain basically, that somebody want to verify basically. For that purpose basically he has done the lockdown. That also few people says basically. Few people says that really this was actually one disease only which was created. Sorry, no, it was not created actually. It actually came basically. So see basically what are the things going to happen now. Now basically the one of the software company told that, are you sure basically you are telling this here basically? One of the software company told that basically. Are you sure basically you are telling like this everything basically? One of the software company told that. Then he told that yes, here basically just see basically this is the mountain basically. See mountain. Here basically plane get crashed basically. That was basically in the blog basically. I am not telling it. I am not telling it basically. That was in blog basically. I am not telling it basically. It was in blog basically. So one of the person told that basically, yaar, now basically world basically has reached to very dangerous level basically, yeah. It's reached to very dangerous level basically. So this is also basically the 4 lakh people which are dying basically, that are high profile people here basically, that are not normal people basically. Then he told that yes, here basically you are correct, that are very high profile people basically. So somebody is literally murdering that people basically, and he is basically controlling the world basically. Like this type, like this basically is handling the world basically. Like this basically is handling the world basically. So just see the software industry also basically, up to what level the software industry is basically. The land is getting separated from the, sorry, the Asian land is getting separated from the world. That time basically the internet internet basically gets break, and that time, in that break time basically, the log data basically, which was the future data of, with the help of the data science